Hello, the internet. Stuck in the house, can't do anything. So, stuck in the garage, working on projects. So, tonight we're making a custom camera mount. So, it's the platform for a Panasonic Robo camera, and they want to put it on a speaker stand, but also have adjustability to make sure that the camera is level. So, this is one that I've already completed. We got the design figured out. Basically, what we're doing is we're taking this big honking piece of 6-inch by 9-inch, 1/4-inch plate hot roll steel, and we're basically drilling and tapping 6 holes in it. 2 holes for the adjustment mounts, and then 4 holes to mount the plate to it. They wanted it extra big and beefy so we can put big bubble levels on it and everything, make sure it's super level. So I'll show you how we do that. So I've already done the hard part, which is mount the piece of material to the mill and square it up to the platen. Basically, quick and easy version is stick the material in, loosely clamp it, and we put in a dial indicator in the chuck and run it along back and forth along the back edge and watch. It's a very fine increment, 0.5 of thousandths of an inch, and we just watch until we try and keep that needle as centered as possible without moving while we run the axis back and forth. So I have my first hole marked, which is in the center of the plate and 1.5 inches down from this edge. It's not cut exactly to 9 inches, so I'm not going off of either edge. I'm picking 1.5 inches from one edge, and then we're going to just make sure that all the holes are spaced centered off of that. I've already lined up my spot drill to my mark and zeroed out the digital readout. So we'll just tweak this over so it's back on zeros. And start it up. So the first thing we're going to do is do our big 3/8 inch tapped holes, and then we'll go and do our 4 little holes. Start off with a center drill. About 500 RPM. A little bit of tap magic, tap, tap, tap. Nice little spot. When we run it over, we're going 6 inches apart for the center of each hole. Just going to wait till that number is 6 inches. Five, 5.9. And there's 6. Tap from there. There we go. Just a little bit. I'll change it out for a drill bit. Tap magic, cutting oil. Make sure we're back on our zeros. 6 inches. Back to 1. maybe someday I will build a power feed for this so I don't have to crank the hammer so much. All right. All right, holes drilled. So next step, when you're drilling a hole that you're going to tap, is you want to use a chamfer drill of some sort or countersink drill. They work really well, and they help the tap start a lot easier. So, since I'm not actually milling an edge and trying to put a chamfer on a straight piece, I'm not going to bother with putting it in a collet. I'm just going to stick it here. I'm only going down a little bit, so it's not that big of a deal. So just a little cut gives it a nice little chamfer on the hole, cuts that burr off from the drill, and then really helps a lot when you're starting a tap into the hole. And that's that. So now, tap the hole. So I just learned about this new device for tapping holes. It is this. This is called a tap guide. I've tapped tons of holes before by hand and could never get a hole square, especially when you're drilling it with a manual drill. You can't get the whole tapped hole square at all. So for a whole $13 you can get a tap guide, and thanks to abomb79 on YouTube for using those and showing me how that works. It's basically on the back of your tap wrench. On the back of your tap, there's a little tiny countersunk hole in the back of it, which is great because it just so happens to line up with the point on the tap guide. The tap guide has a spring in the center of it, so you can put some preload tension on it. What that's going to do now is, since I'm still zeroed out on my dimensions, that's going to help hold the top of the tap so it doesn't wobble. I can push on it any direction I want and it's not going to go anywhere but straight. So now that's there, just put a little tap magic. Use it what it's actually designed for. It also works for drilling holes. We just line it up, everything's lined up, and start tapping. As you can see, the center of the tap guide is pushing out from that spring tension that's on it, still keeping it square, keeping enough pressure on it. And we are all the way through. Take our Z out of the way. There we go. We have 1 of 6 tapped holes. Also, chamfering that hole before tapping it helps guide it and get it straight a lot. It is super important to do that. Sometimes I skip over that and I regret it later. So. And back to our 0. 0, 0, all the way around. Tap in, bring it down. Little tap magic. And tap, tap, tap. All right. So that is 2 of 6 holes drilled and tapped. Now our next ones are going to be smaller. So let's drill those. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to center the chuck between these 2 holes so that I can drill the other 4 holes. I know the dimensions of those holes based off of the center. I have them on my little cheat sheet over here. So I want to center those 4 holes right between these 2. So all I'm going to do is take my x-axis, run it over 3 inches. We'll re-zero our x. So now we are in the center of the plate. And then I will put in another smaller center drill. And then we're going to hit our first hole. So our first hole is 0.9075. 9074, because it doesn't do odd dimensions. And then our x-axis will go to negative 1.6475. 7. Really, for this thing, the accuracy of tenths of thousandths of an inch doesn't matter. But if you can get that close, why not? So, little tap magic. Best part about having a digital readout is not needing to actually mark anything out on your material, or very little. If you know the dimensions of your holes, crank them to that. get your numbers right, and you can do it. You don't have to sit here with a scribe and mark everything out and hope that you're going to be accurate. So, just pack our first hole. Nice little peck there. So now I'm just going to move one axis, make the same dimension, same number in the positive direction, 9075. Seven, 4. Close enough. Little pack. Alright, change one more axis. 6, 4, 7, 4. Back. And our last hole, 9075. That's enough. All right. So now we have all 4 holes started, packed out. We know where they're going to be. Now we just change our tool. So we can change over our drill bit. Number 29 drill bit for those of you who are following along at home. So we'll just double check our numbers again. All right. So we'll switch this into high range because this drill bit likes to go faster than the big ones. Go Tap Magic. About 1200 or so RPM. Alright, number 1. Six, 4, 7, 5. All right, one more. 5. Those. All right, looks pretty good. Excellent. Now, do another chamfer. Using a slightly different one this time. This is just one of the cheap $10, $15 ones you can get from your local hardware store that can also do metal. My really nice end mill won't fit these holes, so I've got this slightly smaller one for these. And again, it's just to give it a nice little taper at the start of the hole. Makes it easier. This one will go back down into low range. Up to about 5-ish, 100 RPM. 5 hundo. Yep, close enough. And that's it. Just a little bit. Doesn't take a lot of pressure. Doesn't take anything special. It's just a nice little bit to help with a little taper at the beginning. All right. So, again, we're going to tap these holes. These are an 832 screw size. Again, we're going to be using a tap guide to help us tap our holes straight. So, 832 tap and a tap handle, and this tap handle has our little indentation in the back of it. So that allows us to set our tap in and line it up with the tap guide. Preload the spring in the tap guide. And tap away. Tap, tap, tap. This project has taught me having the proper high quality or good quality tapping tools makes all of the difference. I've already broken one of these taps, one of our lovely cheap Chinesium taps. So I went and ordered a new tap that is $6. But the best part about the tap is it's a spiral flute tap instead of a straight flute, so that it actually ejects the chip while you're tapping. You can see there's a slight little spiral in it. It's not perfectly square, so it helps the chips come out, which makes all the difference. A straight flute tap just takes a lot of effort to tap with. Tap in. These ones are so small, and I have enough lube already on things. I really don't have to use any tap magic on this. Put it in, tap away. You can see I can push in pretty much any direction, and that tap stays solid and parallel to our material, which is important. The worst part is drilling a straight hole and then tapping it at an angle. And the hardest part is actually getting it to start. And that's where that chamfer comes in. Real handy. Just that little bit of chamfer on that hole makes it tap so much easier. Two more. One last one. And that's that. Six holes drilled and tapped. And that's it. There we go. So that's it. Big hunk of metal with 6 holes drilled and tapped. All for this custom camera mount for a Robo camera. This is their mounting bracket. So you have 4 small holes drilled for these screws in holes that were already existing in our plate. And then drilling our 2 large holes for these leveling mounts so we can bolt it to a speaker stand. So that's that. I've made 3 of them. So now I'm going to clean them up, degrease them, shoot them down with a coat of black paint, and probably knock off some of the corners a little bit, and then drop them off tomorrow. So yeah, there we go. Thanks for tuning in, and yeah, maybe next time we're gonna do some welding. Got plenty of welding projects coming up. So, all right, that's all for now. Thanks for stopping by. Have fun social distancing.